In 1938, a letter exchange started between scientist Otto Hahn in Berlin and exiled Jewish scientist Louise Meitner in Sweden. In one of those letters, Louise detailed a theoretical experiment surrounding neutrons and uranium. She discovered that when you shoot neutrons against uranium, you are able to create a lot of energy. Enough energy to create a certain kind of bomb. In the same year, the President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, was informed about the attempts by the Germans to create a weapon based on nuclear fusion. The letter, written by Albert Einstein, suggested him to start his own research into those weapons. A year later, the first prototype of such weapon was calculated by two University of Birmingham-based scientists. The research on plutonium, which is needed for such weapon, is starting and centralized at the University of Chicago in 1942. The same year, Robert J. Oppenheimer convenes a summer conference at the University of California. This conference leads to the now famous Manhattan Project. It took another year for the first plutonium to arrive at the gates of Los Alamos, New Mexico, where the first drop tests were made, and it didn't take that much longer to finish a fully functioning atomic bomb. In 1945, two Japanese cities were destroyed, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, using the bomb's little boy and fat man, leaving Japan in ruins. The next decades had the word shiver. It seemed like the beginning of a new war, far more frightening than the last. Meanwhile, something else was happening in Japan. A monster was awakened that would give me nightmares for years to come. My name is Skull. I do not have an intro, and today we will take a look at the Monsterverse.
I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
In the early 50s, a Japanese filmmaker under the name of Tomoyuki Tanaka was asked to create a movie for the Toho company. After giving it a thought, Tanaka decided to create a monster film based on the famous movies created by Universal in the past decade, like Frankenstein, Dracula, and King Kong. What? King Kong, or Kong, how he is referred to in a lot of movies, was created in the 1930s by filmmaker Merian Cooper. In the movie, Kong lives on Skull Island with other giant animals and dinosaurs. Yes, dinosaurs. Attention, this island is based on a logbook about his uncle's experience in Africa during 1861. Now, you may ask, Skull, are you from that island? No, but like the people from Skull Island, I am in fact part of a cult. The movie sees Kong kidnapped by a film crew and displayed as the 8-world wonder in New York City, where Kong goes on a rampage, climbing, falling off the Empire State Building, while protecting his one true love. This kaiju story, at base, mixed with events of nuclear destruction, gave Tanaka the idea for Godzilla, a mix of gorilla, or gorilla, and whale, or Gojira. This movie was a success. Audiences loved this monster, which led to a bunch of sequels, as well as a now legendary crossover, My Little Pony x Godzilla. In 1962, Godzilla made its way to America to fight King Kong, even though Godzilla made it to America in 1962. Up till then, he was still just an import. It took another 30 years until in 1998, Godzilla had a US remake. This movie apparently is just military propaganda with Godzilla hiding from the great American military, because nothing can outshine America. Well, except China and their leader, Winnie the Pooh. Does it work? Does the TikTok propaganda work? But let's not talk about a honey living bear for a moment and take a look at me. I'm 20, have a YouTube channel, and I hate nothing more than Kaiju / mecha. With mecha, I mean robots, not the city, please don't cancel. I don't know why, but I never like giants fighting each other in cities. That's why I actually have never watched a single King Kong movie and only have seen like one Godzilla movie. The one Godzilla movie that I have actually watched before working on this video is Godzilla -1 with my furry friend. And I have to say that it is pretty good. The war, the drama, the effects, I loved it. Does that mean that I am now going to watch every film with a 1,000 feet tall monster? According to my furry friend, yes. Since then, every time we meet, he talks about how he can't wait for us to watch Godzilla x Kong together. So now I am sitting here not wanting to go while he sends me memes every day. How can I justify watching this one movie?
I remember you was conflicted.
In the year 2017, a Pulitzer Prize-winning album came out by rapper, poet, and dogs killer Kendrik Lamar, alias Kung Fu Kenny. The album starts with Kendrik taking a walk and getting shot by an elderly woman who he saw struggling and wanted to help. During the album, every song is about a different theme surrounding himself, DNA being about how African Americans are being treated unfairly in the US. Element explores the themes of isolation that fame brings, concluding everything in the end with Dogworth, revealing this album to be a parallel universe where a bunch of bad decisions got led to Kendrik growing up without a father. He also reveals that we have been listening to the project the wrong way around, which now I am doing the same with the Monsterverse. I will start with Godzilla x Kong, working myself backwards through the timeline to prove that this series is one of the greatest things humankind has ever created.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Well, that first movie was a disappointment. To quickly summarize the movie, take a Marvel movie, a new Fast and the Furious, and anything with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it, and you have this. I mean, Donkey Kong over here is basically Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with a bunch of hair. The movie follows Kong, who is alone in Middle-earth, killing a bunch of hyena, dinosaur, bird hybrids, while having tooth problems. He goes back to normal Earth to get his tooth fixed by the worst version of Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds mixed together, drunk and thrown up by a teenager doing prom behind the school. After that, Donkey Kong goes back to the Middle Earth with Ryan Reynolds, military Squidward, Lemon, and to be honest, everything under 1,000 feet is really irrelevant for this movie. Rather have a fun fact. Did I mention that I got drunk before watching this movie? Because oh boy! Now while the Smurfs do something in Middle Earth, Kong goes a layer further down because apparently Donkey Kong lives on Shrek. It has layers! There he meets Diddy Kong and friends, who try to kill him, but Kong kills them. For some reason though, Kong lets the ginger one, Diddy Kong, live, and tries to be like a father to him. My theory on why he lets him live is that Kong can detect souls and gingers do not have those. So Kong thought this thing is already dead or a demon. Meanwhile, Godzilla destroyed the Vatican, took a nap in the Colosseum to prepare for some solo leveling. He killed, destroyed and eaten a bunch of things with radiation in it. Back to the monkeys. The monkeys are now at the evil monkey headquarters, a volcano with monkey heads on sticks sold by the guy who interviewed Dan Snyder. The monkeys are mining something for the evil bad monkey, whose backstory got explained while I went for little skulls. Then Kong and the bad boy meet and have a full-on dialogue in monkey noises. Honestly, I would have much rather have them talk in a Morgan Freeman-ass voice, like in that Curiosity Killed the George video. Anyways, Kong almost immediately defeats the big bad guy until plot twist, Ice Godzilla, controlled by evil monkey attack. The two almost get to Kong, but Diddy saved the day. Back to the humans who found out about a prophecy by Donkey Kong Cole, which is boring. I came from monkey and lizard kissing, but sadly there was no kissing. So let's skip forward to Kong getting an upgrade in form of a robot arm. Kong then jumps through a portal to get Sungjin-Zilla. The two have a WWE fight, destroying the pyramids of Giza and back to Middle Earth where the humans summoned a giant moth monster. So now the monkey army and ice lizard are about to face cyborg Donkey Kong, solar leveling Yoshi, and the Mothman. To top it all off, they are fighting in zero gravity. Yes, zero gravity. You know what? That's not cool enough. Let's go full Jurassic World 3 and include giant insects to join the fight. Are you entertained yet? Wait, no, I'm stupid! You can't be entertained yet without the monsters destroying an entire city, killing thousands. This time the lucky one is Rio de Janeiro.
Brazil had it coming.
They fight for a bit until they free nuclear ice revolution of Eve, not very compatible with humans. They all together kill the bad monkey and pose on top of a mass grave for a "we did it, we saved the city" shot. Now Donkey Kong is King Gizzard of the Wizard Lizard, and Godzilla can return to the Colosseum for a nap, and the humans, I actually do not care. Yeah, this movie wasn't very good, and I would have to buy the next movie because it isn't on any streaming services that I own. So I was about to give up and not do this video. But then I remembered the first thing my dad taught me when I was a kid. How to pirate movies.
This is not a banger. This is not a banger. And I know bangers. I know bangers.
This movie about two monsters clashing takes itself a bit too serious for my taste. The movie shows that King Kong is now living in a Truman Dome with the last survivor of the Skull Island cult, the chosen one girl from the last movie. The thing is that we never really find out why or how the others die. It had something to do with the storm, I think. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna find out in one of the other movies. The people watching Kong get asked to use Kong as a compass to direct them to Middle Earth for non-shady reasons. Pinky swear. The one in charge is hesitant because Godzilla, the biggest enemy of Kong, returned to destroy a factory of this non-shady businessman who wants to use Kong as a compass. I am not a detective, but maybe this guy is shady. Let's check in with the podcaster who was infiltrating the attacked factory and found something shady. He is now meeting two miners. Wait, what? So now Drake is trauma dumping about his dead wife to 11 and that fireboy from Deadpool 2. He also shows them the alcohol he always keeps with him. One day I will drink this and then I will end myself, kids. But not today. Get back into the unmarked van so I can show you some balls. They go back to the factory and find no balls but eggs, which get transported to Hong Kong by a Stranger Things elevator. Back to Kong, who also gets transported by ship through the seas, where Godzilla will definitely not attack him. Godzilla attacked them. He attacks Kong after sinking a bunch of other battleships and almost gets to him. And by getting to him, I mean he almost kills him. But monkey played dead like the other ships. No, Kong buddy, those guys are all dead. Oh. They transport him with a helicopter to Antarctica. Maybe they should have done that in the first place. In Antarctica, they go through caves until they get to Middle Earth, where they follow Kong in those alien UFO kind of ship. They end up in a throne room where everything is out of lava and there is like this energy source that they need. Why do they need the energy source? Non-shady things. Good guy shit, I swear. Let's check in with the podcaster again. Stranger Things B-plot now finds out that non-shady businessman built a giant Godzilla robot, which is controlled by the hit album King Ghidorah and controlled by a random Asian dude. I do not remember his name, I'm sorry. They get captured, and one evil villain monologue later, Godzilla pulls up in Hong Kong, shooting an atomic blast down to Kong's throne room, where the daughter of the big boss man extracts some kind of Gatorade and sent the data to the lab where they just recreate it. They don't even need power fuel, they just need the data to recreate it, which I don't understand that. Anyways, Kong kills the bad lady, arrives at Hong Kong to fight Godzilla, and he loses, leaving Godzilla alone with Robozilla, which gets out of control. Now Robozilla and Normalzilla fight, and Normalzilla almost loses as the others try to revive Kong.
She can feel his heartbeat. He's dying.
This woman does not want to be there. She is just here for the paycheck. Kong gets revived, fights alongside Godzilla, and now both monsters lose. Until one of the miners steals the dead wife alcohol from the beginning, pulls it over a computer, and the robot just stops working. Now Kong is just destroying the robot, and they leave Hong Kong. That's it. That's the end of the movie. Hong Kong destroyed, and the monsters are gone. on. The movie was very boring, even though there were like ginormous monsters fighting each other. I did not find any amusement in this movie. I'm so sorry for every Godzilla versus Kong fan. This was not a good movie, and my like expectations for this franchise are zero.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Kong Skull Island is a masterpiece, and I am not just saying that because I am in the title. The movie follows a group of Vietnam veterans and scientists exploring a weird island they found in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. One of my favorite triangles. The scientists make some seismic tests by dropping bombs onto the island, which awakens Kong. Kong attacks those helicopters, making the group getting scattered around the island into a bunch of smaller groups. Now the group wants to find back together, which the war commander, played by Samuel L. Jackson, is planning to kill the monster, while a different group out of Loki, Captain Marvel, no-name scientist, and a young soldier finds the indigenous people and an American World War II pilot who got stranded here with a Japanese pilot who he befriended. Sadly, the Japanese pilot passed away, leaving the American World War II pilot alone, but not before the two can build a boat together out of their airplanes, which the group uses to leave the fort of the indigenous people. The fort was built to protect themselves from all the different monsters, except of King Kong. He's also there to protect the indigenous people as well as his island. On the boat, they are finally able to contact the war general, which means that they are all safe and sound now. Oh my god. Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, the kills in this movie just come out of nowhere. You get, for example, a guy killed by a tree. Another guy gets turned into a kebab by ginormous spider legs. There's also this one scene later on where the group finds together wanting to rescue another soldier, but get ambushed by a monster in thick fog. This scene is executed, in my opinion, perfectly. Not like the dumbest sacrifice later. All in all, this movie is by far the best movie that I've seen in this franchise. It really understands what makes a creature fearsome or what makes a creature like lovable and nice. You can't have a creature being like a hero after it destroyed an entire city and killed thousands. In this creature film, Kong actually gives a damn about all those people that he's surrounded, looking out for them even while fighting the big bad monster in the end. He still looks out for them and tries not to kill them. After the movie, we get a nice after credit scene teasing the next movie on our list, and in this video, Godzilla 2. That's weird. Why should they tease the movie that came out before? After credit scenes tease movies that come out later on. Oh no. Are you fucking kidding me? After finishing Godzilla x Kong, I asked my furry companion what in his opinion is the best movie in the franchise. And he gave me a rundown of all the movies, telling me that Godzilla 2 has to be the highlight of the show. But I think this furry was too horny for the moth to notice that this movie is actually ass. The entire movie is about the scientist who lost her child in the first film, enacting a plan to redeem him. Now take a wild guess on how she wants to do it. If your guess was to go full Billy Butcher and try to kill all kaijus, your answer is wrong. This is what her husband wanted to do and then got kicked out of the company that was asked to kill all the kaijus. She, on the other hand, has a different plan. She wants to awaken all kaijus which are scattered around the earth and then make them kill 70% of all life forms. For that, she teams up with eco-terrorists who made it seem like she and her daughter 11 got kidnapped by them. It gets revealed that she is evil when she almost kills her husband while awakening Ghidorah. Now, avenging her son was a bit of a stretch. Her actual motive is to save the planet from climate change in the name of her dead kid. What she fails to realize is that kaijus are just doing the same thing climate change would do, but instantly. Throughout the movie, we see the scientist and 11 look at the destruction the kaijus do, feeling bad for what they did. This should clearly make them seem seem more sympathetic, but in my eyes it feels like watching Hitler stepping into a concentration camp, falling to his knees, saying, "What have I done?" while a tear runs down his cheek before rumbling himself up and leaving. Even though I have to say that 11 wasn't really on board from the beginning and was 100% off board the moment she saw her mom almost kill her dad using Ghidorah. Her mom at some point was also off board, but for other reasons, because she finds out that Ghidorah is an alien, meaning she isn't a part of Earth and Earth ecosystem, which theoretically makes her a space racist. Up to this point, Godzilla and Ghidorah have fought twice. The first time he fought Ghidorah in the background of people running away after it got reawakened in Antarctica. The second fight happened on an island while Ghidorah reawakened his flying side bitch, while the good guys saved the villagers of the island. The good guys being a company who was asked to kill the kaijus by the UN, but instead decides which kaiju to reawaken and use as a weapon. Mister, it sounds like you want to create a privatized army of 100-meter tall monsters. Oh no, miss, you misunderstood us. We just wanna let the kaiju sleep as long as possible. Now watch this hentai of two kaijus reproducing. They kinda get most people of the island and then fly away in sci-fi spaceships. While the monsters clash in the ocean, the great US government shoots a new kind of weapon at them, which doesn't damage Ghidorah at all, but almost ends Godzilla's existence, leaving him in a dying state. This makes the boss of the company, creating UN-founded kaiju hentai, go up to the husband of the scientist, whose kid got killed by Godzilla, asking him if he is happy now, acting like he personally killed this thing. A bit later, the same asshole sacrifices himself using an atomic bomb his company apparently just owns. He does that to jumpstart Godzilla's heart, but not before getting way too excited touching Godzilla's forehead.
Legalize nuclear bombs. Swag Messiah.
Meanwhile, 11 sneaks away with a machine which sends signals that can control and lower kaijus to somebody. So 11's plan to save people is to go to the Red Sox Stadium in the middle of Boston to get Ghidorah come to Boston. Now Ghidorah at this point is more or less just doing nothing, flying throughout the world. But 11 was like, nah, that's boring. I'll make it head to a city with 650,000 people. The thing that makes this even funnier is that 11 first of all thinks that Godzilla, the only monster that wants to fight Ghidorah, is dead, and the other monsters that want to follow Ghidorah and do whatever Ghidorah says aren't. Meaning now she's just inviting a bunch of monsters to a North America destruction tour. Tickets available soon. But thank God Godzilla and his moth side bitch come to fight Ghidorah and his dinosaur side bitch. The entire fight scene, this an epic final fight scene, happens 90% in the background while 11 runs through a destroyed Boston and then her parents driving through a destroyed Boston. During the fight, Moth sacrifices herself to boost Godzilla, which I found out by my furry friend. Moth is just there to make Godzilla horny, and the hornier Godzilla gets, the stronger he is. So basically in this scene, Godzilla orgasms. But the sacrifice by Moth wasn't enough. So the space racist has a chance to save the day by sacrificing herself, overloading Godzilla, turning him into an atomic bomb. Which, if I had a nickel for every time an asshole gets to hero sacrifice themselves in an atomic explosion, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but weird that it happened twice. In the end, the rest of the monsters arrive to crown Godzilla the king of monsters, and the movie ends. An after credit scene shows that those eco-terrorists that were against technology are the ones that found Ghidorah's head and were the ones that sold it to this guy that built a ginormous machine powered by those heads, which basically is 100% everything that those eco-terrorists were against.
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as
So we are here, the thing that started this new Fast and the Furious franchise. 2014's Godzilla, which from a movie's point of view isn't that bad, but calling this a Godzilla movie is a bit of a stretch. The reason is that we don't really see Godzilla at all. It's more about two Cloverfield monster aliens trying to become parents that happen to fight Godzilla for 2 minutes in the end. So the movie follows Mr. Mr. White! Holy shit, no, this movie is a 10 out of 10. End of the video. Walter is working with his wife at a nuclear reactor in Japan, which gets attacked by something and his wife dies. 15 years later, his soldier son returns to bail Walter Hardwell White out of prison. The two then return to the nuclear zone to recover some data, but get caught and brought to the upgraded nuclear reactor, which is now used to observe some kind of egg. Now Bryan Cranston gives the performance of this franchise, telling the idiots from Monarch what this might be. After understanding that this thing is feeding off atomic waste, trying to communicate with another being, they try to kill it. But it's too late. A monster appears, destroying the base and flies away. But don't fear, because Hall from Malcolm in the Middle is here to help out. And he died. He just dipped. The only real character with decent dialogue and good acting gets murked in the first 40 minutes of this 601 minute series of movies. Now you may think his son is going to join Monarch to avenge his father. No, he dips flying back to his family. He has to stop over in Hawaii, where the Cloverfield monster appears once again. You know who else Wait, I can't do it. You know who else appears in Hawaii? Godzilla. Godzilla appears in Hawaii.
Oh, brother!
Making his first appearance after an hour of movie. He's finally here, coming in onto the island with a tsunami to fight this monster. They cut away before the clash, showing Soldier Boy save a kid. And now Walter White Jr. joins a military transporter. The thing is, he doesn't even join the mission or join to fight. No, he just sneaks onto the transporter to get back to his family. Back in America, we see Mama Monster was able to flee a military base unnoticed. How didn't you notice this? The monster is 200 meters tall. It heads to Las Vegas. Now for all the dedicated gamblers among us, don't fear, we do not see the monster destroy Vegas. It cuts away seconds before impact. We do see the aftermath though. No! The only time we do see a monster destroy anything is when Godzilla swims underwater towards the Golden Gate Bridge, full of school buses evacuating children. Then he decides to stand up, destroy the bridge full of humans, and continue to swim underwater. I'm not kidding. He just came out, destroyed the entire bridge, killed a few hundred people, and then he dipped. Why did he do that? I don't know. Why wasn't this budget used for a decent fight between two monsters? I don't know. Ask the filmmaker. Here's his address, IP address, and I don't know, his phone number and where his children go to. Now back to Jokic. He joins a military operation which wants to use a nuclear weapon to kill 3 monsters that live off of nuclear energy. Why is he now joining the fight? I don't know. Because is this a good idea to use nuclear force against beings that eat and live off nuclear force? I don't know. Probably. What's the worst thing that could go wrong? Well, Mama Monster stole the bomb and is now feeding her eggs with the atomic bomb, which kinda was the plan. I didn't really get the plan, but something like that was the plan. I don't know. What wasn't the plan is that Mama Monster brings the weapon in a very crowded area. So now we need a task force to retrieve the bomb. 90% of the final clash is actually in the background while the guys are trying to get the bomb. And honestly, I don't really mind. This is one of the most tense sequences in this entire movie franchise. All the monsters seem actually terrifying. Every single encounter is on edge. In the end, they are able to get the bomb onto a boat while Godzilla is finishing off both monsters, and he gets saved in the end.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
one. So now the movie ends with the main character reuniting with his wife and his kid, and Godzilla is declared a hero. Now, mostly I have one critic. Why did you kill off Breaking Bad? I mean, you had the opportunity to have like a buddy cop dynamic between those two, but no, you had to kill him, and then you had to replace him with Drake. Oh my god, there is a moth. Wait, I'm gonna take a picture of it. Take like 16, I tried to record an outro. I don't want to write anything for this franchise anymore. I've been working on this video for like 4 months. This should have been like my comeback. I thought that I would like finish this video in 2 weeks. It's now half an hour long. I had a bunch of breakdowns just to make a stupid tier list. Here, take that tier list, and yeah, I'm done.